Hey guys, I went to my local pawn shop and I was able to get 8 Xbox 360 controllers, a bunch of controller parts, and even some Xbox One controllers. And I want to see how many I can get working. So let's dig in, test each controller, and see how many I can fix. I'm only going to focus on the Xbox 360 controllers for this video. So here are the 8 controllers. As you can see, some of them do have thumbstick damage, but who knows if that's the only issue they have. So I'm going to be testing each controller, but before I do that, I'm going to number the controllers 1 through 8, just so we don't mix them all up. So let's start with the white controllers first, and I'm going to be using Forza Motorsports 4 to test all the functions of the controller. So let's start testing number 1. So controller number 1 seems to be working great. The only issue I see is the thumbsticks have a bit of damage, but that's not a hard fix. So let's move on to number 2. So the only issue I found with number 2 is that the chat pad accessory doesn't seem to work. So I'll have to take the controller apart and see if that can be fixed. Let's go to number 3. Number 3 seems to have an issue with the rumble motors. They don't seem to be working at all, so I'll have to see if I have to replace them or what the issue might be. Moving on to number 4. Number 4 seems to have no issues whatsoever, so on to number 5. Number 5 has a few issues, one being the thumbstick damage, and the other being the bumpers are really finicky, where you need to press a specific spot for it to activate, so it may just need a good cleaning. Let's move on to number 6. The only issue with number 6 is that the rumble motors are really weak, so I'll have to open the controller up and see what might be causing that. But let's go to number 7. Number 7 seems to only have damage to the thumbsticks, everything else seems to work perfectly fine. So on to number 8. Number 8 seems to have a bunch of sticky face buttons, so I'll have to give it a really good cleaning and see if that helps. With all the issues discovered, now I just need to take them apart and see if I can fix them. So for controller number 1, we just have to deal with the thumbstick damage, so let's quickly swap those out. And there we go. Controller number 1 is fully fixed. Now, let's check out number 2. Number 2 seems to have an issue with the chat pad not working. I suspect it's because it's a third-party controller, and they usually don't support the chat pad. But let's take it apart and see if I can find the issue. So now that I've taken it apart, I can tell that the port is in good condition, so I don't think that this controller is Xbox compatible, so the chat pad won't work. But that means the controller is good to go, so let's move on to controller 3. Number 3 seems to have an issue with the rumble motors. Let's take it apart and see if I can find the issue. So I did need to replace the rumble motors, but Now everything seems to work great. Controller 4 had no issues, so let's move on to number 5. Controller 5 had issues with the thumbsticks and finicky bumper buttons. So let's open it up and see what might be causing that. So now that I've gotten it apart, I can definitely see that it needs a good cleaning. So let's see if that might solve our issue. And it turns out it did just need a good cleaning. So let's move on to number 6. Number 6 had weak rumble motors, so I want to see if I can just swap them out, and then it should work great. So I swapped the rumble motors out, and it seems to have worked. Now on to number 7. Number 7 only had damage to the thumbsticks, so I'll quickly swap those out, and then we can move on to number 8. So I swapped the thumbsticks, and they look great. So now let's move on to number 8. Number 8 had really sticky face buttons, so I'll take it apart, give it a good cleaning, and see if that doesn't solve the issue. So number 8 did just need a good cleaning, and now everything works great. So now let's quickly test all of the controllers again and make sure there's no more issues. So now these 8 Xbox 360 controllers are all now working perfectly. If you have any suggestions for what I should do next, let me know in the comments below, and I'll see you in the next one.